nilikutumia ya container ilikuwa haina kitu ndani.
Oh, okay. What's it about?
I don't know which country it is, but they were opening some stuff. It was a ceremony. Then kufungua napata ndani, there's like only, instead of having a full container, they had only 5 bags or something. Kila kitu imegulwa. So it's episode 65, man.
Yeah, man. How have you been?
So far, so good.
How is the internet now? Is it back fully normal to
Iko
normal
sawa.
levels?
Iko sawa. Sijaangalia speed of that, but let me just do a quick check. Because I was able to stream Formula One qualifiers a few. In fact, I was streaming it up to 6 because by Kenyan time the qualifiers was between 5 and 6, so I was able to stream it again and see. Once again another disappointing.
I see it's like things are not fully, but it's like we are almost there. It's been
Young is okay. Mine is okay now.
In a terrible this past week. Internet has been quite low.
But we are not getting the request from Eric.
No, ijakuja bado.
So hebu play your video kwanza tuone African Punistics in action. Afu tutanitumia link, I send it to our brothers and sisters in Twitter, in X.
Oh, yeah, live.
Tueneze injili huko pia. That video has gathered so far 1,300 likes.
Which one?
The one that we're about to share right now.
You mean this container? Or what did? Let me first open it up. And then okay. Can you see it now?
Yes. Now play it from the start.
Okay. It's an opening ceremony. It's a launch.
Yeah. Then look what they find in the container. 5 bags. Hey friend.
What were they supposed to have expected to see? A full
the
container
container
full
should
of
be
what?
full. Should be a full container. Why should you carry such few things? It was supposed to be stacked. Sasa mtu alikuja usiku akagula.
But hata hiyo mlango haikuwa imefungwa, so they knew what was there.
And in fact, you can see from the body language, somebody is looking away and
hata kuna cultural dancers huko wanacheza. You can see it's open. The container is already open. Ilikuwa imeshikiliwa tu ni hiyo ribbon.
Instead of a full stacked container, you have a few measly bags here and there. Man, the embarrassment is just monumental.
Oh, I see Eric is here now.
Not yet from Eric. Eric. Karibu bwana.
Asanteni sana.
Karibu sana. This is This is Eric Babu. He's my partner in Time Motor Corporation. He's basically the design manager, and he's
Mhm.
actually who does very well in keeping me straight when my mind stray a bit. It's good to have
Okay.
such like-minded people, mature-minded, so that we can keep each other in check. So he's a very valuable member of the team, and I think you should take time now. I think the show should be between the two of you. I've done a lot of talking, so you should proceed. Let's pick his mind and see that what time is all about, what people like
It's
Eric are
okay.
all about.
You can, because we probably know the kind of question to ask.
Hmm.
But maybe it's just to give us the story about how you guys, the two of you met. Um,
Well, our
yeah.
our interaction began, I think, in the Kibe spaces. He
Yes.
noticed me. He noticed me in the Kibe spaces when I was talking
Okay.
about the electrical project.
Yes.
Then he sent me some work that he was working on,
Yes.
and we started discussing. There's a project he was doing, also electrical project, and I gave him my views on what I thought how we should go about it. Then we
Mhm.
started picking each other's brains. I realized his value, he realized my value. Then I say, okay, why don't we work together? Because like-minded, if like-minded people are working in different directions, it's no good. Let's put our heads together. Let's introduce what we call diverse, parallel thinking, but ending in the same goal. You see, you can go to Nairobi by car, you can fly. I don't know kama unaweza tumia rocket or what not, or a train. But at the end of the day, our style of thinking, our end goal is practically the same. So each has, we combine our methods, he combines his thinking, and is very knowledgeable on sana sana on diverse topics on corporate and so myself, I'm not very good on corporate stuff because I've worked throughout in manufacturing in the nitty gritty of engineering. In fact, I hated the corporate. I used to call them what office. So Eric comes in, tells me about the politics, this is how you handle things, and so we make a very, very good team.
Great. Eric, karibu.
Asante sana, Andrew. It's my
Mhm.
first time I think talking to you one on one. Where are you based, Andrew?
I'm in Kigali, Rwanda.
I'm
So
in Tanzania.
this one should be called FFS East Africa Edition. Kenya, Rwanda, and TZ.
Tanzania.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
Where
Yeah.
exactly are you in TZ? Are you in Dar?
Dar es Salaam, a place called Kunduchi.
Kuluchi. Okay. Mi
Kuluchi.
najua Mikocheni
Mikocheni is
hapo
Buida.
where there is what's that place? That nice place where there is what's it called? I can get some nice fish there. Eh? Anyway, that's beside the point before we get diverted into other things. So, welcome to Free Flowing Saturdays. Uh, eh, Brian has given a bit of a background on how you guys met,
Yeah.
um, and how you've come about on this project. So he says you help out mostly with the design work. Maybe give us a bit of a background of yourself. What you
Okay.
do and the
Okay.
like.
I'm a designer by profession, graphic designer. I studied graphic design. I worked for advertising agencies in Nairobi till about 2002. That's when I moved to Dar es Salaam. I worked for an advertising agency here. After that, I went to East Africa TV. I stayed there for I think 2 years or 2 to 3 years. Sorry, I think 3 years. And then I moved into a production house where we were doing things like Miss Tanzania, Kili Music, stuff like that. And after that, I decided to just start doing my own thing. But my biggest passion has always been motoring, always. Even when I was doing graphic
Has
design,
been what? Sorry.
Motoring.
Motoring.
Cars.
Okay, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
your voice. I can hear you,
Oh, okay. My mic
but
is my
not.
no,
It's probably
mic
too
was
far.
yeah. So my biggest passion has been motoring, and
So, are you Tanzanian or Kenyan?
Kenyan.
Oh, you're Kenyan living in Tanzania. Hey, Wakenya wametembea. Eh? Oh wow,
So
that's. Mhm. Gone. Yeah.
yeah, so I started because I realized there's a huge gap. People love cars, but there's a disconnect. They just drive cars as machines. So I was trying to connect the people, the drivers, and their machines. I started a small magazine. Didn't do too well. I was distributing it free of charge. I got a few advertisers, but eventually business went so bad that I had to shut it down. Yeah. So, but all through, I've been doing sketches. All through, I've been doing sketches of motoring designs, trying to find maybe if there's anybody interested in the West or South Africa here. Things didn't go well. I visited the Neo Pioneer guys, the guys who made the car in Nairobi
Mm.
way back.
Oh wow.
We didn't go far, and yeah. So, but here, when I got here, I started talking to a couple of people who had projects going on, and they realized my value. So I've been contributing design expertise in their projects. Different individuals, yes.
It's interesting to see that your career evolved from just when we think of graphic design. I mean, typically the graphic designers that we have there will be involved in projects like your typical, what poster designs, maybe
Yeah,
help with the designs of websites and things like that. But for you to have sort of moved your skill now to something like motoring,
yes.
where you're able to do sketches. I don't know which other spheres you're involved in terms of using that design eye to build.
3D,
So it seems like you're now in manufacturing in some sense.
yes. I also do a bit of 3D design. I think those are the sketches I
Hmm.
shared. Because it enables me now to look at the thing wholesomely, not just one plane. You can flip the vehicle
Mm.
around, see the errors and problems and advantages, stuff like that. Yeah.
Interesting. And so, how far you guys? What's the plan with the project now? Where you at, and what are the sort of the next upcoming
We are
works?
just finalizing on just what we call the aesthetics, because we have a fully functional bike that can. There's nothing that bike cannot do. So when you look at the what's available in market, uh, the general design is very generic. You have a frame, then there's a battery being exposed there. They tend to look the same. And then those that have an aspect of uniqueness, you come to discover it was something directly imported from China. Like what I shared with Eric today, there's a bike
Yes.
called Commando. I come to see it. Okay, it's not good to mention them, but I come to see it today that it was a import, full import from China. So we said, okay, let us build our own thing. Let us create our own thing. So what is left is the aesthetics. The bike at its state, you can actually say we have a bike, like it will look like what we have. But you see, human beings are aesthetic driven people, and aesthetics impact our emotions. That is why, as much as Mercedes make very good engineering pieces, they spend a lot of money on design, on the aesthetics. So what is left is simply a very nice aesthetic presentation. Then we normally say cross the bridge when you get to it. Because I realize that when I start thinking a lot of things ahead at the moment, I get my head gets boggled down with a lot of issues. So at my level, I'm not running a huge corporation. It's just a five people working on something. Let's just conquer one tree at a go. So the next tree you are going to bring down is the tree of the aesthetics, and we said we are not going to rush on it. We are adapting. We are making it using the fiberglass. Eric has made the design. The fiberglass is going to be the groove. We'll be using cartons to make the initial groove. Those cartons what will serve as our sort of reference. Are we on the right path? Because owing to resources, if we make a fiberglass and it goes wrong, then you have to look for more money to redo it. Let's work with the cartons and see how it looks like. Because a carton you can always change it anytime. Once you are happy, then we'll switch on to the fiberglass. We have something that is fantastic. Our as much as I don't want to bring in a bit of sometimes you have to face the truth. We are saying let's build something that when you look at it, you'll say, "Isi Kenya ameunda." That's our driving force because we are a very powerful Juakali culture whereby you make something weird, then we clap for you. Hey, amejaribu, amejaribu. But you have to go beyond kujaribu.
Raising the standards.
Utajaribu mpaka mwaka gani? When are you going to keep trying? We are in 2024 and you build something that looks like a World War II relic and then we clap, yeah, umejaribu. That is murder. You've literally killed yourself, and we are somehow uh, strengthening what you call mediocrity. You have to ask yourself, again, you have to be very careful as much as you are building standards. We don't want to say, oh, and this is a mistake I've made. That, oh, ati ikienda uzunguni itakaa. No, no, no. Forget about uzunguni. Make something that upgrades your very own standards, that looks palatable to your own standards. And if I may quote something that I told Eric some time ago, here, what we call international to somebody, it's local. Like those people live in the vicinity of the Mercedes plant in Stuttgart. So to them, Mercedes is local. Mercedes inaundwa mtaani kwao, and they have their standards. And we who are operating in practically non-standard, we call that international. So why don't we just look within ourselves and say, hey, I think we've had enough of this puniness. Yes, there's no problem in kuchungulia kwingine, but do something that appeals to you, that even you, the person who is building it, can actually buy it. Not like there's some. If you look at some of these businesses, like in the public transport, gari imechapa kweli kweli, hata mwenye hiyo gari hawezi panda hiyo gari. He'd rather fly or
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing you guys are doing in terms of raising the standards. When you say you don't want to raise, you want for people to look at it and say, "Hii kujengwa ni Mkenya." I think that's still fine to look at it that way, because we've normalized mediocrity to a point that now we don't pride ourselves in doing something good, something that is not just functionally good, but something that is also appealing to the eye. And I think what you guys are doing is quite commendable. So now, and I hate to go way too much into the future. Yes, I do know you've got several hurdles to go over, but what's sort of the end goal? So once you have this working prototype, where do you want to take that story next?
next is you see, as if we carry forward from the first unit, there are individuals who expressed interests and told us what to work on. There are so many platforms we looked at, so it's simply a matter of going back to the same people and seeing, okay, this is what we've done. How can we move on from here? That is the next immediate step. In terms of if you want me to go into that direction, in terms of long term, we intend to end the full electrics, we'll want to limit to two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and vehicles which have been made to order, like small and medium-sized electric cargo vehicles, which are made tailor-made. It's called range-tailored vehicles for factories, schools, and institutions. For a factory that is distributing bread, they'll have their range. It's just a platform. Is you just deciding how many batteries are you going to fit into that unit, so that you don't occur so many costs in now the vehicle ile inaenda 200 kilometers na ile ya kuenda 350, you have to build something new. It's just one platform, well researched. It's just matter of deciding how many batteries will this thing go as per the requirements. But end goal is to go to series hybrids. These are efficient vehicles that can go anywhere because they are generator powered, which just fuel and go, and you'll get the savings in terms of fuel efficiency and the component wear and tear being reduced.
Is this transferable knowledge that you're getting? You know, the motor you're building is not a hybrid; it's fully electric.
Yes. Hmm.
So when you
Yes.
talk of, you know, helping the wider community or population migrate to EVs or partial EVs, will you be able to use the same skill set that you had to move it to that kind of a sector?
Yeah, very much, because a series hybrid is one of the, I think, is one of the easiest vehicles to put together, because it's simply a generator and a motor axle. In Europe, they call it e-axle. So, in fact, where the normal vehicle, there's an engine, then you have a gearbox, then you have a propeller shaft, then we have an axle, the differential. Here, we have a generator, then with the wire going to a motor with an axle. It's one of the, it's
Really?
like a locomotive. If I don't know if you know how a locomotive, but if in fact, Eric can uh, go deeper into that.
To me personally, I think with the advent of electric vehicles, it's the easiest way to get into the industry because they're simple. The fewer moving parts. You basically need to have a working motor and a battery, and then you have something that can work. As opposed to the internal combustion engine, where you have an engine, you have a gearbox, and whatever the whole list that Brian has mentioned. This is so simple and so doable that I don't understand how there aren't many more EV brands out there, because all you need to have is a motor and a battery.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, actually, earlier today, as before I got home, I saw there was a Tesla here in Rwanda.
Yes.
There was even somebody, I think there was an article I came across that they launched Teslas. There's like someone who is a dealer is looking to be selling those here in
They're
Rwanda.
launching Tesla in Rwanda.
Yeah,
They're launching Tesla in Rwanda.
they're not what?
Launching?
Are
Are
they
they
launching
launching Tesla in
Tesla
Rwanda?
in Rwanda?
So not the Tesla company itself. I think it's somebody who's gonna be selling them,
Like a franchise?
like a dealer.
A
I
franchise?
don't even know if it's a franchise or just somebody's gonna be getting, just the way you open a car bazaar of sorts and start selling vehicles. So I don't
Are
know if
they
you're
new?
fully recognized by the manufacturer, or you're just an outlet that can be able to source and sell in the local market. So I saw one today. I remember reading an article of the same, and then we were asking ourselves, is there an ecosystem really to support a fully electric vehicle? We do have a few charging stations. I think there are not more than 10. I think there are about 5 or so across the city to charge electric vehicles. We do have a few of these Chinese made, the Wulings. I think they had also brought the buses. Now I don't even see those buses. It's the same bus
BYD?
company that is in Nairobi. Yeah,
BYD?
there'll be one.
It's called Build
What's the
Your
name of
Dreams.
that company?
Build Your Dreams, BYD.
No, not the manufacturer, the one that is operating the bus.
Oh, Basigo.
Basigo.
Yeah.
So there's a Basigo Rwanda branch here, and I think they brought a few buses. I was seeing them a lot, but at the moment I don't seem to see them. I don't know if they're still actively in the market. So I guess then my question becomes: is Africa ready for EV? What do we need to put in place? And
Well, it
is it
depends
EV
on what.
you'd recommend, or that step change of first going hybrid
I
and then
would be
full
comfortable with a
EV
series hybrid, not just any hybrid. It has to be series because there's this most small cars are called parallel hybrids, and that's the strangest vehicle I've ever come across. I don't know why would my thinking was somebody was building normal vehicles, then they got walishtuka vile EVs zimeingia, then they plugged in that electricals. Because why is it called parallel? You have engine, gearbox, then the wheels. Then kando, we have a battery. It connects to the gearbox or something like. It's a very strange setup, such that in the event that the battery gets depleted, that vehicle becomes just a complete headache. So I'm at home with the series hybrid. One of the series hybrids that I know locally is the Nissan X-Trail 2023. That is a series, a very nice vehicle. Then there's a bus called Iveco Crossway. That's a series hybrid. Then
I've heard
there
of
are
the vehicles, yeah.
Iveco Crossway. So it's a low flow urban bus. And then there are these guys in America. They are called Edison. They are building hybrid trucks, but they have a very unique way of building them. It's very interesting. They have the engine, the very powerful battery, then cables going to the motor axle. Now, when they sell you the vehicle, they sell it to you when the battery is full. So when you step on the accelerator, you are actually drawing power from the battery. When the battery drops to a particular level, the engine picks up to charge it. They are called Edison. And that's a very powerful truck. They are used in logging, carrying logs of tree logs. It's a very unique
Lumber.
concept. Yeah, it's a lumber. So they say to you the battery is full already. So when you're stepping on it, there's no noise. But when the battery drops to a certain level, you just hear the engine picking to top up whatever you've consumed. So that's among the, although it's a bit opposite to a train, like a locomotive, because the locomotive engine to the traction motors, then you save. So I'm more at home with the normal series hybrid, because you don't need a very big battery. You only need the battery to recover when you're slowing down. So as opposed to the EV, you are talking about 80% in savings, but you are limited to the charging or battery swap network. With a series hybrid, you are talking of 35% savings, but you can drive anywhere. And you can still
So
save. You can
um,
still save on your brakes due to regenerative braking. And a vehicle that runs as a series hybrid, it runs on a lower rev. So maintenance
mm,
costs take a dip also.
yeah, it seems to be more practical and probably the
Yes.
next evolution for us, instead of sort of
Pure electric,
leapfrogging that element and just
Yes.
going straight to EV.
Mm.
And I guess that will probably give us time to build the infrastructure we need for that. So maybe for you guys, when do you think, what's the new name of your company,
Timer.
Brian? By the way, why did you end up changing it? Zeo Bike, I think, sounded good. I'm still yet to acclimatize to the new name. What's the new name again?
Timer. TYMA.
TYMA.
MA.
like
Mm.
time.
Okay. Like time. Okay.
Timer.
TY.
TYMA. It's as simple as teknolojia ya
China.
magari.
Is it N? T
Teknolojia ya
for
magari.
teknolojia ya magari. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I see now why you had to change it. So
Yeah.
when do you think you guys will be able now to have commercially viable business?
I don't want to go deep into that. We
Mhm.
normally say that when you are running a project from your own pocket, you are pressure free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things of time lapses come in when there's somebody behind telling you, "Hey, we've given you money. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are the so as long as
Yeah, at
the
least
people
you
we
don't have
talked to
that pressure.
initially told us this is what you need to do. We said, okay, sawa. Let's go back. Are you giving us anything to push us forward? No, for now. Sawa sawa. We'll work at our own pace because one of the discussions we have with Eric is that we have so many projects that go wrong because of rushing. In big countries, you went wrong because you went too fast. One of the major ones was there was a project for United Kingdom to build locomotives. They just built it, just went wrong, everything just wrong. Breakdowns from morning to evening. So I wanted to I somehow got into a platform and I asked them, a locomotive is very simple. Engine, traction motors, and the what we call the brake resistor. Was it a wrong engine, wrong motor? No, what that people did, they were concerned more with the showbiz and the razzmatazz. It has to complete by this year, by this month, you should be active. R&D into the type of engine, quality of the motor, the brake resistor, nothing. So we said, okay, one, we are running from our own pockets, schedule near to. Number two, quality. And then we don't even have a name to fall on because Mercedes can make a bad car. Like one of the worst cars they made was, I think, the Mercedes was in, I think, there's a
A
Mercedes they
class.
made.
A
The E,
class.
there's
A
some
class.
the A class that looks like a Vitz.
Yes.
Horrible
Yeah.
car.
Like a
Then
small hatchback.
there was another one they made, a very strange car that ukiipark kwa jua, the plastic film, the plastic zile fittings,
Minimum.
they melt. But you see, Mercedes have a name to fall back on. We are Mercedes. We'll just sort it out and move on. People like us, we get it wrong,
That's it.
back to the back of the queue. So he said, okay, we are going to initially, as we were talking with timelines, we said, okay, let's work with, we have money for this, good, let's do it. Hii pesa inatosha, haitoshi, let's wait, let's build. It doesn't matter. Those issues of
But I would imagine, I agree with you, uh, particularly the project you're embarking on is a very long-term project.
yes.
Um,
And if you
but
look at
if you're
if you look at
relying on
people like
personal resources,
if you look at people
even
like
if
hold on, like Apple. Apple have blown billions into a car, then they say it's not working. Do you know that?
I
Apple.
agree. I'm trying to be the devil's advocate here.
You can even
In the
be the
sense
angel
that
that you can advocate. Uh,
in the
haina
sense
shida.
that personal resources can only go so far.
Yes.
And also you don't want to sort of deplete your own resources and make this a lifelong hobby.
Yeah.
Is there a point where you're seeing it become more commercially viable?
Yes.
Mhm.
Of course, we don't have the. You can't. I can't say that these are. But we have what we call a general rough estimate of where we should be at this time. That is there. That's what guide us. But we are not holding it on our neck. But in terms of a general outline or general target of where we should be heading, so that we can sort of converge on that target, EOIC, plus what we need to do after that, plus fallback, because we normally say uh, when the route becomes rough, we don't say abandon the journey. Take another route. We have a wide variety of options. Some of them are cheaper, but will somehow take us to that route of e-transportation or green transportation, if you want to call it that way. It's a very sober-minded. We have a very sober-minded approach because it's not like a hobby you are looking. No, this is something that we've thought through. We become very. We are looking at it in a very realistic way. That's why when you look at it realistically, fallbacks have to be there. In the event that this goes wrong, what do we have that we can now put together and push it to the market and start selling?
There's an interesting approach I've seen Elon Musk that he seems to employ, particularly with the kind of projects that he does. And I've noticed that, I don't know how to put it. So it's like he builds certain expertise. So let's say, for example, actually now with something like Starlink. So out of running a company called SpaceX, which used to be hired by either private companies or governments to be able to shoot out a satellite up in space. What he realized, we've got already the in-house capacity. How about if we deploy our own satellites in place and already start earning some kind of revenue out of that existing either capacity that they have, it could be by way of knowledge. So figuring out how to use the knowledge and resources they already have, but to a commercial benefit, while still plowing it back to like a major project.
Yeah.
So that kind of a thing. So I don't know, that also could be, I don't know, you probably maybe have already thought of it, or
It is
are going
there.
to think about it down the line, figuring
It's
out
there, it's there, but
how
I
do you
can't share it.
utilize the expertise that you already have for something commercial viable. Yeah.
It's there, but I can't share it right here. It's there. We've actually gone over it. I've talked to my electrician, my professional electrician, to my chambua in terms of the theories and the mathematics behind it, but I can't share it right now. It is something that we can actually put together, put in the market, and start making money, but one step at a time.
Okay. Good.
And in
Good.
fact,
Good.
it's
Good.
like
You
when you
guys
are
are
dealing with
piecing yourself out.
when you are dealing
Mhm.
with a venture capitalist, most of them they'll ask you how are you making money currently.
Yes.
Mm.
So that is something we'll look at once we are done with the bike. We have a good presentation. Kila kitu will now disappear into our cocoon and say, Eric, now kale kamradi fufua hiyo. Hii ndio itakuwa ikiongeza pesa kidogo kidogo. We have a nice balance sheet. When you talk to people, you don't want to sit with the venture team, then you say, hii ndio budget ya sukari pia inatoka hapo hapo. But although these are things that happen in this part of the world, in the developed world, people getting sponsorship money in some parts of the world is easy. That's why even Vusi Tembekwayo said getting $1 of project funding in
Investment.
America is easier than getting a rand in South Africa or any part of Africa. So it's not that we are complaining, but this is the situation we are in. And to a certain extent, we've actually we've shot ourselves in the foot. I got some very legitimate information that back in the days, project money was available from the expatriate community by simply presenting a proposal. A nice proposal will give you money. Now, in typical Kenyan fashion, people became experts at writing proposals, not implementing projects. People are very good at now, ukiandika hivi ndio pesa inatoka sasa. Ukiandika hivi pesa ndio inatoka. So instead of being good at implementing the projects so that during the inspection you get more money, people became very proficient at writing the proposals. And that's how
They are professional proposal
proposal
writers.
writer. Yes.
These are professional people that you hire.
Yes.
Sema niandikia hii pesa ikitoka nikugawanyie nusu. And I think it later evolved into writing master's thesis and all kind of stuff. So we literally killed ourselves. Money used to be there. A very nicely written proposal plus PowerPoint presentation will give you dollars, which turns into millions of shillings. But then we became
Mm.
experts in PowerPoint. People
Yeah,
became
slide
very
decks.
top class. Sema huyu jamaa ukimwendea pesa inatoka. Then, like any level of funding, someone will ask you, okay, it's been 6 months. Let's see what you've done. Inakuwa sijui, sikujua, ilikuwa, and that's how the trap just we lost everything. And when you are in these Caucasians, whenever they see black skin, they just know just the same. You really have to work extra hard to show that you are doing something a bit different. Ni kama tu you'll be operating on third gear ukipanda mlima. But then again, that is the what we call that's the
reality.
situation. That's the challenge, and we take it. That's why we said we are going to ensure that whatever we produce, it shows effort. Because what we have are simply, I'm seeing imports everywhere.
Mm.
The only
Shortcuts.
people who have tried are maybe, okay, I don't want to mention, but there are guys who have done some work with the frame. But funny enough, whenever I see something looks nice, then when somewhere along my Facebook feed, I'm a Twitter feed, I see the same thing being sold in China. Then you hear somebody got funding for like 100 million. She's, oh, your pesa ilifanyia nini? So these are the people making life difficult for us. So anyway, uh,
It's a game. It's a game, and maybe I think Eric wanted to chime in at some point.
yes,
And as you jump in on this, Eric, maybe you can talk more about the competition in the market. Who are you competing against? Are there any competitors that are in the space that you guys are getting in? And what do you feel will be your unique selling point?
Yeah, is my sound clear now?
very
Am I
clear.
sound?
Yes.
I got this mic. So yeah, the thing is, what Brian is saying is exactly what I've been seeing. And before I met up with Brian, something that used to frustrate me personally. I know where to, I know how to express it too. You find a vehicle or a motorbike, and people are praising it. It's locally assembled. You go online, Alibaba, and you find the same thing. Everybody's taking shortcuts, and that's why we decided we're going to take our time, because we are competing with these people who are taking shortcuts. People are going to China, they find companies that have already made these motorbikes that are, that are constructed not perfectly, but they are reasonably constructed. And then they bring it over, and you're supposed to compete with this person. We cannot rush. As Brian was saying, most of the companies that rush, they end up crashing. That is the same thing that happened to Nya Pioneer. Kenya wanted to make a vehicle so quickly, they didn't sit down and go through the painful process of creating this thing. If you want to see how a vehicle is created, just follow the making of any model of BMW. It takes years. You'll see sketches, you'll see mistakes being corrected. Even on YouTube, they're there. But you find, like the other day, I saw, I don't know, I should mention, but a local Kenyan company is talking of a brand new vehicle, and you go online and there's a Chinese vehicle, and they can't show you how they got to where they are. They're only showing you this vehicle is complete. They're like, no, things don't work that way. It's a process.
I guess it's
Minimum,
easy now. It's easy, very easily
yeah,
now to sort of fabricate white label a number of things that are out there. Because it's easy to just commission someone in China to do this for you, and boom, you've got something, and you put a sticker on it and
yes,
brand it.
Yeah, it looks easy, but when are you going to when are Kenyans going to be able to be expert welders?
exactly.
When are Kenyans going to be top notch in painting?
Yes,
When are we going
yes,
to have top notch fabrication? When are we going to have people willing to sit in a room for hours and do research on items? If that's what we're doing. It's easy. We can also do it. We can collect a few coins and bring something. In fact, in China, they tell you when you order certain number of pieces, give us the name, give us the color. You can even write for you, made in Kenya. No problem. But the moment you start having issues, where are we going to get the technology to do it? You have to see there's a certain pain to thinking long term. If you don't want to think the shortcuts, we are aware of the shortcuts. We know who to go to. We can send our sketches to some company somewhere and we'll have 50 bikes ready.
Yes.
But when someone tells you that in some part of Nyanza, someone brought electric bikes and they all failed, they ran properly, mwezi wa kwanza pili, dead. But if that individual did what we are doing, these resources, vijana wakajua kuweld, wakajua kuset up hizo motors, wakajua kuprogram ECU, okay. Maybe it may fail due to a problem with the ECU. Si hata moto imeungua, the ECU maybe imeenda out of line, something like that. Hakuna. And that thing has just died like that. Because if we take that line,
it's and I think what you guys are bringing out is a very important aspect, and I guess that's why you guys have that long-term view. I now realize when you're talking about it, the kind of work you're doing should be what should be showcased in our universities.
Yes.
Because that's where now you can start building the expertise. So they should now be looking at, yes, this thing has got a battery, has got a motor. How do you increase efficiency on it? How do you build a more efficient? Could be the frame, could be with whatever element of the bike that it is, but this is what should be studied. And then now to figure out all those pieces, what kind of skill set to build for them, as you're saying, have fabricators, have electricians, have this kind of people. Yeah, I totally see it.
It's like
and I don't know if go on.
Like the motor that we have is a 5 kilowatt motor. This is as discussions with our electrician Cyprian. This is a motor for a power bike, a super bike. Our motor has the carrying capacity of half a canter. Now we can tune it to be very fast, but have a low range, or we can tune it to be a bit slower, but have a higher carrying capacity. It's just tuning the ECU. Now that is programming. If those people in Nyanza took this route, whereby you have one guy doing this, then training our vijana wengine, so those bikes will not be there, because somebody commented there are also some electric bikes in some way, rural Kisumu, then zote zikakufa. So if something that is based on a motor and a battery and ECU imekufa, that means it's a very serious skill deficit. Because if engine inaweza fufuliwa, motor, battery na ECU inashinda mtu, yani imekufa wapi? How? If it is an engine, tutasema ni kuna something happened with the pistons, timing belt ilikatika, something. There are a lot of components, but
Yes.
Battery, motor, ECU. If somebody can say kama ni ECU, can it be reprogrammed ama tununue ECU ingine ama what happened? So the fact that, so if we take this line, then we adopt a very huge number of EVs under this condition, will end up like in the current state of motor vehicles, whereby ukiangalia kwa social media kila mtu ana complain, gari yangu nimeenda kwa huyu fundi akayaribu, nimeenda kwa fundi watano ndo akang'ang'ana. That means because you are not building them. You are always on social media, you are now castigating a particular car. It's simply because the expertise to deal with that car is not there. One knew what people just wake up. Of course, kuna vehicles which have inherent faults, but pia fundi asipokuwa na ujuzi fulani will have problems. Somebody tells you that after the 5th mechanic ndio gari ikakuwa sawa. How much money? That means you've blown money on 4 mechanics. Now imagine going to EVs now and you're adapting the same, the blunder we made with the normal cars, we are copy pasting to EV. It becomes double problems. Shida huko kwa EVs, shida kwa normal vehicles, whereby you now have people saying I'm a specialist in this car. to attract, because ukipeleka gari mahali pengine ujue una gari, to a point where you say Mercedes, ukiwa na Mercedes peleka garage fulani. How come the average mechanic cannot deal with this vehicle? Why? We can't blame them. Who's training these people? Because it all begins with one entity that is doing what you call full, like total deep assembly. They work there for 5 years, then they leave. So it builds an ecosystem. And we would have scored that on the Mobius if only the system allowed it. So if now tukihama we do the same thing for EVs, we'll start tutasema tu hizi EV ni mbovu bwana, sijui nini, kumbe battery iko na problem or the motor. Like the first bike, there was a time I wanted to shoot a video and it didn't work. It was just giving some funny error on the screen. Fortunately, we had the service of Cyprian. He checked it once and said there's a particular sensor in the motor missing, costing 700 shillings. Fit songa mbele. What if that sensor is affecting those motorbikes in Nyanza? So we want what Cyprian has when we grow is samba everywhere. That's all. We are setting up an ecosystem. And maybe we may even go to other things now that momentum imeshika, because when you are thinking big, the business of putting together motorbikes, sema hiyo tuachia wengine, let's push to other issues.
So I hope you've seen that question, and maybe we can start with you, Eric, and then come back to you, Brian. Or rather, I don't know if it's a question or a comment from Lute family. In my opinion, the best entry point to enter the Kenyan market is to make battery packs. So what's your take about that comment there?
This is the same question that there's a time Andrew Kibe sent me a DM concerning that one. It's a very, very good method. It's actually, it removes you from the rat race of selling motorbikes. But now you need let's say per region, you need a very huge capital injection per region, in that every motorbike dealer will have to sort of tailor-made his motorbikes to be compatible with your battery, physically compatible.
Yeah.
In terms of the electrical aspects, the terminal to terminal, hiyo hakuna shida. As long as my little knowledge in electrical engineering, when a terminals go connected, power is there. What about fitting? Physically fitting that battery. Number two, range differences. So are you going to bring these dealers together and say, I'm coming in as a battery supplier, this is my battery, can you test it and come up to a conclusion that this is our standard battery for this region? There's a lot of logistics around it. There's a lot of think tanking with the various motorcycle dealers, because you are selling a battery swap service to dealers of these motorbikes. So you have to find who dealer and operator wapi. Then you offer them, I'm willing to give you a swap network in this location. So if you have only like one swap station, atakuuliza, but you have like 4 other competitors, zitatutosha? Because they are in business. They do not want their product to fail because your swap network was not effective. I don't know if Eric can give something different. That's my take on it. That's my sort of personal. It takes you out of the rat race, but you need some really deep pockets and good connections to get into it. That's my take. I don't know if Eric has a different opinion.
No, I fully agree with you. And it also it's capital intensive, as you mentioned. It's capital intensive, and we'll probably consider that as time or later. But as of now, I don't think it's in our yes, yeah.
It's resource.
Yeah, I remember we discussed that issue a while back, Brian.
Yes, it's resource intensive.
Not only that, I think as the industry matures, the coming together of manufacturers has to be there, because this is where they can now maybe come up with a common interface in terms of
Yes.
batteries. So
Like
even if I'm a never ready and you're what's the other one called?
chloride or something, or Amaron or
Yes,
something. Hmm.
whatever the brand, my batteries can fit in any torch out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So whichever torch you create, you all have the same standard. You all know how to create it such that it
It's
can,
like the
can
charging
operate.
port of an Android phone,
Yes, yes,
Samsung, whatever, Nokia. There's a
yes,
standard. Now,
yes,
for you to present that standard, you need some aspect of cloud, and cloud
yes.
needs money. You should say, listen, when you bring, let's say, four motorcycle EV dealers, say, listen, I'm coming into Nairobi County with 30 swap stations, each with 60 batteries. Now they listen to you.
Mm,
You show them the bank statements. This is the money I have. I can set up this. So can we agree? They can come to my facility. We have a meeting. They see what, because it means now they have committed to adjust the physical structure of their motorbike to be compatible with my batteries.
mm.
Now they need to see what's called proof of concept. Will there be enough batteries? Are they operating 24 hours like a gas station? Should I, itafika saa sita usiku, my rider is doing night trips, anapata swap station imefunga? These are the questions you need to
Yeah,
ask. Hmm.
yeah.
The good thing about that one, it takes you out of the rat race.
Yeah.
Sales, nini, oh, advertisement, what? Hakuna. You just relax.
Your
Whatever
clients.
is on the market, mtakuja kununua battery kwangu.
That's-
And that is
And
the reality about good things. Good things cost more.
yes.
Mm,
And good things that looks very logical and is like a silver bullet, you need to expend tons of resources. Because each one will be telling you, look, right now I have 200 of my motorbikes barabarani. Mwingine anasema I have 150, mwingine I have 70. Utatusaidia vipi? Mimi nimepata tender ya Glovo or what not. My bikes need to run 24/7. Will I come to your place at 2 a.m. nipate imefungwa? What do you have to show for it?
yeah. Okay. So as we wrap up, how are you guys planning to influence the market in your own little way? Is there a way you're doing it?
Yes.
Are you participating in some associations, or are
we
you
like
you
appealing
providing
just to
process? Mm,
we are like
sorry.
appealing to human emotions through making beautiful things. Our majority of EVs, the electrical EVs, just look kawaida. We have talked of the beauty of the bike. We have talked of the kind of showroom the bike will look like, the kind of showroom that even if you have your own bike and you look in that showroom, you want to buy another one, just fundamentally appealing to the eye of the person, plain and simple. We don't want to
Yeah.
go this a lot of mambo jumbo. Just when you see it on the road, you say, I need to have the same way
You need to
you
have
have
a
a phone,
timer.
right? You have a phone, correct? Ukipita kwa duka la kuuza simu and you see your very phone there looking polished, sema or your subwoofer uko nao kwa nyumba, but you go to an electronic shop, the display makes you maybe ninunue ingine. So you're simply going to the basics of appealing to the human desires, plain and simple. There's a very huge disconnect between most businesses, and because they tell you things but appeal, build me something, then when I see it, I want it. Plain and simple. Human beings are
Okay.
very simple creatures.
And this side of the world,
Mhm.
in this side of the world, we do the bare minimum. Like you
That's
find
true.
a vehicle that is, but it's the owner will tell you it's working. What's your problem? They're like, okay, if you only made it better, they're like, why would I want to make it better? Customers are lining up to buy these things. Why would I improve on it? You know, these are just vehicles. Even things we consume daily. You find that just because the market is there, this person's not going to bother to make it better. And now you have competition because your neighbor is doing the exact same thing. He saw people are buying at that level that you're producing, so why struggle? I remember I had a client who would tell me every time I do something, no, why reinvent the wheel? Just keep rolling with the rest. You don't shock the market. And like, it's not about shocking the market, it's about setting the standard and basing your product on that level of production. That quality that should be associated with your brand. And that's why me and Brian decided that we're going to take it slow, refine it, because refinement takes time. Yeah.
Similar to
Great.
when you come to Nairobi, the most popular matatu is Super Metro. Why? Because most of the time the vehicles are clean.
Mm.
See?
Hmm. So just appeal to the human psyche.
Yeah.
Great. So I wish you all the success in your goals and in your next steps. Looking forward to seeing Timer on the road soon, so that we can start celebrating that milestone in and of itself, and any other future works that you have in store. Thanks, Eric, for coming through. Looking forward to seeing you back again. Brian, I don't know if there's anything else left.
Me to say thank you very much to
But in
Lute
short,
family. Lute family has been very instrumental in what we are doing. And from here, I can say adios.
see ya.
Bye, gentlemen.
Bye bye. Thank you.